95% of Earth's oceans have never been explored. Let that sink in for a moment. We've actually mapped the surface of Mars more thoroughly than our own ocean floor. And in the tiny fraction we have explored, we've found things that make scientists question the rules of biology entirely. Creatures that glow in absolute darkness. Animals with no brain that somehow think. Beings that are essentially immortal. Tonight, we count down 10 sea creatures that science says shouldn't exist. And by number 1, you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. Before we dive in, stick around to the end. Number 1 isn't just the weirdest creature on this list. It may be the strangest thing that has ever lived on this planet. All right, let's go deep. We start shallow, well, at 2,500 feet below the surface, with a fish that looks like it was designed by an alien. Meet the barrel-leaf fish. Its head is completely transparent, like a glass dome sitting right on top of its body. But here's where it gets strange. Those 2 glowing green orbs you see inside its head? Those aren't decorations. Those are its eyes. Eyes that can rotate to look straight up through its own skull. Perfectly designed to spot the silhouettes of prey from below. For decades, scientists thought it was a bizarre-looking but normal fish. It wasn't until 2009 that they realized the transparent dome was alive. A fluid-filled shield protecting organs we didn't even know were there. A fish with a see-through head and rotating eyes. Only in the deep ocean. What if I told you there is a creature alive right now that cannot die of old age? Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish, is the only known animal on Earth capable of biological immortality. Here's how it works. When this jellyfish gets old, sick, or even physically injured, instead of dying, it does something that should be impossible. It reverts back to its juvenile state, back to a tiny polyp, back to the beginning. It can do this indefinitely, forever, an endless loop of life. Scientists call it transdifferentiation, when cells transform from one type into another. We can barely do this in laboratories, with millions of dollars of equipment. This jellyfish does it automatically, in the open ocean, at less than a quarter-inch long. If we ever crack aging in humans, the answer might already be swimming in the Mediterranean Sea. The mantis shrimp doesn't look dangerous. It's colorful, almost beautiful. Then it throws a punch. Its club-like claws strike with the acceleration of a .22 caliber bullet. The force is so intense, it creates cavitation bubbles, tiny implosions of superheated plasma at over 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's nearly as hot as the surface of the sun. But the punch isn't even the most mind-bending part. While humans see 3 color receptors, mantis shrimp have 16. They can see ultraviolet light, infrared, and polarized light simultaneously, colors that literally do not exist to human perception. Scientists have been studying its vision system for decades, hoping to replicate it in cancer detection technology and satellite imaging. A tiny shrimp, seeing colors that humans will never see, punching with the force of a weapon. Tell me that makes sense. You've seen the meme. That sad, droopy, melting-looking creature that looks like a depressed cartoon. But here's what nobody tells you about the blobfish. At its natural depth, around 3,900 feet below the surface, it looks completely normal, like a regular fish. The blobby appearance only happens when it's dragged up to the surface, where the sudden drop in pressure causes its gelatinous body to collapse and expand. That face you've been laughing at? That's what severe decompression does to a living creature. The blobfish is actually perfectly engineered for its environment. It has almost no muscle mass, because at that pressure, floating just above the seafloor takes almost no energy. It barely moves. It barely eats. It just exists. An animal optimized to do almost nothing, in one of the most hostile environments on the planet. Honestly, goals. Most animals have one defense mechanism: run, hide, sting. The mimic octopus has dozens. Discovered off the coast of Indonesia in 1998, this octopus doesn't just change color like other cephalopods, it becomes other animals entirely. It can mimic a lionfish, spreading its arms to replicate the poisonous fins. It transforms into a flatfish, reshaping its body to undulate along the seafloor. It impersonates a banded sea snake to scare off specific predators. Scientists believe it can imitate over 15 different species, and it chooses which animal to become based on what predator is threatening it. That's not instinct, that's decision-making. An octopus assessing a threat, selecting the most effective disguise, and performing it in real time. We still don't fully understand how it does it. Every shark is terrifying. The goblin shark is unfair. Living at depths of over 4,000 feet, this prehistoric relic has barely changed in 125 million years. It swam with the dinosaurs, and it is still here. Its defining feature, a long, flat snout packed with electroreceptors, works like a living radar system, detecting the electrical fields of prey in complete darkness. But the jaw is the truly horrifying part. When a goblin shark detects prey, its jaw launches forward from its face, a slingshot mechanism called jaw protrusion, extending several inches beyond its snout to snatch its target before it can react. Its jaws move faster than the human eye can track. It's been lurking in the dark for over 100 million years. Patient, unchanged, waiting. In 2023, a camera dropped into the Izu Ogasawara Trench off the coast of Japan captured something extraordinary. A cusk eel, swimming casually at a depth of 27,349 feet. That is the deepest a fish has ever been recorded, nearly 5.2 miles below the surface. At that depth, the pressure is 800 times greater than at sea level. It would crush a submarine. It would kill any human being instantaneously. And this fish was just swimming around, casually, like it was a Tuesday. Its body contains unique compounds that prevent its proteins from being crushed. Biological antifreeze for pressure. A completely alien biochemistry. We found the limit of how deep a fish can go. And then a fish broke it. Here's a question. Can something think without a brain? The sea sponge says yes. Sponges have no brain, no nervous system, no muscles. They are functionally a bag of cells with holes in it. And yet, they coordinate. When particles of a sponge are separated and scattered, the individual cells will find each other, rejoin, and reform into a functioning organism. They process chemical signals across their body to direct water flow, filter feeding, and even basic defense responses. They are the oldest animal phylum on Earth, over 600 million years old. They were alive before complex life even existed. No brain, no neurons. Ancient beyond comprehension. And somehow, still coordinating, still surviving. Sometimes intelligence doesn't look like what we expect. When a whale dies and sinks to the ocean floor, it becomes an entire ecosystem, a whale fall. Hundreds of species feed off the carcass for decades, but one creature takes it further than any other. Osedax, the zombie worm. These tiny creatures have no mouth, no stomach. Instead, they drill directly into whale bone using acid-secreting root-like structures, dissolving the bone to reach the lipids and proteins inside. The females are visible, small, feathery creatures on the surface. The males? They spend their entire lives living inside the females' bodies. Dozens of microscopic males, permanently embedded in one female, an animal with no mouth, no stomach, that eats bone by melting it, whose males live inside the female, and we only discovered them in 2002. What else is down there? And finally, number 1, the siphonophore. At first glance, it looks like one creature, a long, ghostly, glowing ribbon drifting through the midnight zone. But it isn't one creature. It is a colony of thousands of individual organisms, called zooids, each one genetically identical, each one performing a different function. Some exist only to move. Some exist only to feed. Some exist only to reproduce. Together, they form a single organism that can stretch over 150 feet long, the longest animal ever recorded on Earth. Longer than a blue whale. Longer than a Boeing 747. And here's the part that keeps biologists up at night. Is it one animal or thousands? Each zooid cannot survive alone, but together they function as a single being with specialized organs, behavior, and coordination. It exists in the space between individual and collective, between one and many. Science doesn't fully have a category for what the siphonophore is, a creature that breaks the definition of life itself. The ocean didn't just hide it from us, it hid the concept of it. 95% of our oceans are unexplored. Every single creature on this list was discovered within the last few centuries, some within the last few decades, which means the ocean is still out there, waiting, hiding things that will rewrite biology textbooks, things stranger than anything on this list. If that excites you the same way it excites us, subscribe to Deep Sea Wonders, hit the bell so you don't miss a single dive, and drop a comment below. Which creature shocked you the most? The immortal jellyfish, the siphonophore, or something else entirely? We read every single one. Until next time, stay curious, stay deep.